I get some stock tips from him, some Super Bowl tips on gambling.
All right. Let's limp through this. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1.
Boom! And welcome to the Big Honker Podcast. Did you know? Brought to you by Mallard Bay. Check out Cadillac Creek. You can do that through Mallard Bay. Look up at mallardbay.com. If you're an outfitter or a client looking for a hunt anywhere in the United States, probably in the world, you can look them up at mallardbay.com.
Mr. Toby Brolin.
Yep. Oh, Tobster.
The Toby. The Tobmeister.
Okay, here we go with your Did You Knows, and I'm going to go first. I got to find my page now. Of course, I can't find the damn thing that I had.
I wonder if that sound is available for me to put on this. It's probably trademarked.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
I don't know.
Okay, my Did You Know today is the great state of Texas. Some interesting facts about this thing. The things that I found interesting about Texas. Did you know the Texas State Fair is the largest in the United States?
The one that's in Dallas every year?
Where the state fair is, yes.
Yeah.
3.5 million people attended the fair in 2015. That's
I
the
hate
latest
fairs.
I saw. I haven't been to the State Fair of Texas since I was a little kid. Your mom's never been. She wants to go every year. It's in a shitty neighborhood.
Really?
Very dangerous place.
We've gone to the one in Lubbock a couple times, and I don't know. You kind of get the turkey leg and a couple shitty rides, and you're ready to go.
Do you feel like white trash when you're there?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably good for people watching, but not for me.
You're just not a deal.
It's just not for me. If you like the fair, go to the fair, but it's just not for me.
The Texas State Capitol is taller than the nation's capital. Been told that my whole life, by 15 feet. But it's only the sixth tallest of the state capitals. So to me, that wasn't that big a deal.
But still bigger than the White House.
That's right. And both of them have an idiot in charge, basically, probably, because they're politicians. The highest national speed limit is in Texas between
85?
San Antonio and Austin. On Highway 130 is allowed to drive up to 85 miles per hour, same as you are between San Antonio and El Paso.
So here's my thing, because you've always said, this is a did you know, kind of a cross-reference, did you know? Highway patrolmen have like a grace mile an hour? 7 miles an hour?
Well, hold on just a minute.
You can get pulled over.
You can get pulled over for going 86 and 85. You are breaking the law. But usually
they'll give you a 7 mile an hour grace.
Rule that they're not going to write you a ticket if you're under 7 miles an hour.
So if you're going 91.
91, you should be safe.
Really?
Yes. They don't want to jack with. I mean, why do they want to write you a ticket for going 5? First of all, if you wrote me a ticket, your aunt got a ticket for going 2 miles an hour over one time. Yeah. She was going 37 and 35.
And they rung her
And
up.
she calls me about it and is a different town somewhere else. And I said, I bet that judge is going to be pissed, because I would be.
Really?
I wouldn't want to have to deal with that shit. Now, if it's someone that's habitual that does shit all the time, you're just being an asshole.
Right.
But yeah, don't write them a ticket for 2 miles an hour over.
That's an unwritten rule among the state troopers.
They just don't usually do it.
City can be anything.
Yeah, and there's going to be some trooper out there, some young kid getting out that's going to do it. But after he's been on for a long time,
fuck it.
Most of my older friends that are highway patrolmen, you really, really got to do something bad to get them to write you a ticket or to pull you over. If it's cold or rainy, they ain't peeling your ass over. The young guy will. The old guy, no.
I've noticed that recently. There's been a couple times I've zipped by, because I'm always 5 mile an hour over, and my wife's always on my ass when we pass a cop, and I'm like, they don't want to jack with this.
Nope.
I'm not going fast enough.
No, the other day I was going probably 10 over, and the guy, highway patrolman, would come at me.
Yeah.
He just bloop, bloop, hit the blues and reds, and he kept going, and I kept going.
I made my point.
Yep, that's exactly. He did too. I was like, oh shit, and I kept going. All right, Texas is twice the size of Germany and bigger than any country in Western Europe. Texas has the claim in Guinness World Book of Record for the oldest married couple in the world with a combined age of 211 years. That's too old. They're still married. Didn't say how long they've been married, but between them, they were 211. So one was 111 and one was 110, let's just say. Or 101 and 10, whatever it
Yeah.
is, to 11. Okay.
Phew.
Let's see. Here we go. Dr. Pepper is the oldest soft drink in the United States. Was invented in 1885.
Dublin.
Coca-Cola was invented in 1886.
Dublin,
So it was a
Texas.
year before that. 7-Eleven opened its first chain in Dallas, Texas, in 1827.
I wonder why 7-Eleven. Was that with Dice or whatever?
I
Wonder how they got the name 7-Eleven.
Well, they were actually, the first name of it was Totem Stores. So I'm assuming they sold Indian stuff.
Right.
If I'm guessing. Frozen margarita was invented in Texas in 1971. The first set of fake tits was put in 1962 by Frank Giroux and Thomas Cronin.
God bless Texas.
They invented the fake titties. So good for them.
God bless them.
That's actually a really good show. The guy that's on Cheers is in a show about that. I think it's called Boobs or Tits or something's the name of the show.
I'll be.
What's the guy's name? Not the guy that died, not Joey, but the other one. The one that was dating.
Cheers?
No, I mean not Cheers. And Friends.
Oh,
The dark-headed guy that was with.
Matthew Perry or
No,
his
he's
friend?
the dead one. Is the other guy. The
I
guy
know
that
who
was
you're
the
talking
one that dated Jennifer Aniston on the show.
Yeah.
Anyways,
LeBlanc, isn't it? Matt LeBlanc, isn't it?
no, that's Joey. It's the
No,
other
Matthew
guy.
Perry is.
No,
You said Joey. Oh, David Schwimmer.
David Schwimmer,
the
is in
goofy
it.
guy.
Yep, he is. He plays the doctor, and that's a pretty
Okay.
interesting show. Texas is the second most populous state behind California, and the second largest state and area behind Alaska. The name Texas comes from the word which means friends.
Tejas.
Yep.
Yep.
Less than 10% of Texas area is considered in the desert, but boy, it sure seems like it's more than that to me. The further west you go, the drier it gets. Texas was in the early years was ruled by Spain, France, and Mexico.
Hence the Six Flags.
The deadliest natural disaster in the United States history was in Galveston, Texas in 1900. They had a hurricane, killed 8,000 people.
Andrew?
I don't know. No, it wasn't that. I can't remember the name of it, but it was in 1900. Most Fortune 500 companies in the United States are in Texas. Let's see here. There's a few more that I found pretty interesting. Texas is leading producer of oil, natural gas, and sulfur. Sulfur kind of surprised me. We have two natural-born presidents here, Lyndon Johnson and Dwight Eisenhower. Texas is 790 miles long and 660 miles wide at its most distance points. The Astrodome is the world's first indoor arena that was used for multiple sports. Between 1836 and 1845, Texas was its own country, and it's the only state to enter the United States by treaty instead of an annexation. Texas has more species of birds than anywhere in any other state. Texas has more cattle than any other state, which doesn't surprise me, and I doubt anybody else. There are 297,000 oil wells in Texas.
Wow. And I don't have any of them.
Nope. King Ranch in Kingsville is larger than the state of Rhode Island. It's a home of 35,000 cattle and over 200 quarter horses, and it's over 1 million acres.
Phew.
Texas has 3 of the 10 most populous cities in the United States: Houston, Dallas, San Antonio. Austin's pretty close. I'm going to say we play 4 of the top 15. Texas has more farmland than any other state. Texas has had more tornadoes than any other state since 1950. On an average year, Texas has 120 tornadoes a year. Kansas stands second on the list. The Texas Rangers is the oldest statewide law enforcement agency in the United States, or in the U.S. And there was one last one, and then I'm going to be done with it. And I got to find the damn thing right now. The oil revolution started in Texas after the discovery of the Spindletop oil fields. On January 10, 1901, a geyser of oil exploded from a drilling site at Spindletop Hill. Continuing for 9 days, the geyser spat more than 10,000 barrels a day, and it reached more than 150 feet in air. This is considered the beginning of the oil industry in America, and many of the top oil companies in the world, including Exxon and Gulf Oil, can trace their origins to Texas. And that's Texas quick facts and state symbols. About Texas, largest cities: Houston. Population, it was 30 million on July 1st, 2023. It's become a state in 1845. And I'm proud to be a Texan. I think it's the greatest place in the world. Highest point's Guadalupe Peak, 8,700 feet. Lowest point would be the Gulf of Mexico. So anyways, that is it. Texas's nickname is the Lone Star State, and our state motto is friendship. And if you don't believe us, just ask us and we'll tell you. And if you don't like it, you can kiss our ass because we're Texans.
We're the friendliest bunch of assholes you'll ever meet.
That's exactly right.
Okay. My did you know? Now this has taken quite a while to compile, so hopefully I don't screw this up too terribly bad. So, 1943, January 7th, Nikola Tesla dies. And
I did not realize he was that old when he died.
Yeah, so he was actually broke and he was living alone in New York City. Where was the place that he died at? It was like the New Yorker, I think, or something like that.
He died in 1943?
Hotel New Yorker in Manhattan. He was 86.
Wow, I did not know. I thought they killed him when he was really young.
Nope, he died of coronary thrombosis. I'm looking at it right here. So he dies, and the U.S. government raids his apartment. And upon raiding his apartment, they find all sorts of shit. So Nikola Tesla, if you believe what I'm about to tell you, invented time travel. He figured it out.
I knew this was what path we're going down.
So Project Pegasus. So inside Project Pegasus, you've got all of these smaller projects. You've got the Montauk project. Montauk. I'm sorry. The Philadelphia experiment. And anyway, so they all kind of morph under the same thing of time travel. So Project Pegasus. And if you're going to research this, you got to be careful because there's another Project Pegasus, and it's got to do with Snowden and some other things. So a gentleman by the name of Andrew Basiago. He is an attorney in Seattle. He blew the whistle on this in 2012. So he has actually time hopped quite a bit. Been to Mars. He was able to go to Mars, step foot on the red planet. He was at the Gettysburg Address, and they actually took a photo of him. So here's the photograph of Andrew Basiago at the Gettysburg Address. I'm putting it on the big screen right now. So if you're watching this on YouTube or Spotify, you can see it.
It's a pretty shitty picture.
This is him. So what happened is he got to the Gettysburg Address and he lost his shoes somehow in the time travel. So that's why those shoes look overly sized, is because whenever he got there, met other time travelers, they gave him a pair of shoes. He's also clutching paperwork from, I think it's in here. I'll have to go back. He's clutching paperwork from one of the guys that's in charge of the project. And anyway, he's got like a liaison there that he's got to meet, hand him the papers. That way he's got a reason to be there. He's also gone to the Ford Theater about 6 times, and he never could get in the theater because he didn't have a ticket. And each time he went to the Ford Theater, he was met with different people at the front door. So one time he was met with one guy. Next time he was met by a lady. Next time he was met by the guy and his son. And like he always said, like, my parents are in there. I just lost my ticket. I need to go meet my parents. He visited George Washington's tent in during the American Revolution.
So he went back to Ford Theater the day Lincoln got shot.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So they don't know if he was going to try to intervene or what it was. But Andrew Basiago claims that he met. So basically what happens is if you're going to be president of the United States, they take you to this secret meeting facility. But he met George H.W. Bush and George W. Bush before they became president. George W. Bush was 25 years old at the time. And then he gets news that, hey, you know, you're going to be president of the United States one day. So they start briefing him on this. So that's the Andrew Basiago part of the deal. Now, you've also got the Montauk Project. I did not realize that the Montauk Project is the story behind Stranger Things. So Montauk, off of Long Island, and it is at the Camp Hero is what they ended up calling it, the Montauk Air Force Station. So they put up this big radar tower, and people all of a sudden in Montauk started complaining of weird dreams and headaches. And what they did, they started experimenting with mind control. A guy by the name of, I just had it, this guy right here, Preston Nichols. He's the one that blew the whistle on it. He started having these repressed memories, and he figured out, you know, but kids all around Montauk were going missing, and they were running these experiments on these kids, and it all had to do with mind control and telepathy. And then so you get to the Philadelphia experiment, which so you have Tesla dies in 43. They were already, I guess, experimenting with some of this shit because you got the Philadelphia experiment in 43. The Montauk Project was in the 80s, and then Andrew Basiago, he left in the late 60s and early 70s to do all his time travel stuff. So The Philadelphia experiment is actually pretty interesting. So they're trying to figure out a way on how they can get their ships. You know, you're in the middle of World War II, and they're trying to figure out a way of getting their ship from point A to point B faster. So you have Eldridge, USS Eldridge. On October 28th, 1943, they flip the switch or whatever, and then everybody sees this greenish hue around USS Eldridge. And then 20 minutes later, it appears in Norfolk, 600 miles away. Nobody can explain what happened. Some of the people on there, several of them were like they became welded to the ship somehow. Other guys had other injuries, and a lot of guys lost their mind that were on the ship at the time. Nobody can really explain what happened.
So they went from Montauk.
They went to Montauk,
which
to Norfolk.
which was at the Hamptons on the north end of Long Island.
Yep.
And they ended up in Norfolk, Virginia.
600 miles away in 20 minutes.
And was there anybody normal that was on that boat that lived a normal life after that?
I don't know. I don't know if that happened, but I know a lot of guys, like I said, several of them lost their lives. A couple of them ended up like welded, basically, for lack of a better term, inside like the ship's metal.
I wonder if they declassified those papers on it.
Oh, of course not. So anyway, USS Eldridge is sold off to Greece in 1951 and then finally decommissioned in the 90s and sold for scraps. But anyway, that is my Did You Know? Project Pegasus, and then inside of Project Pegasus, you've got all these smaller projects.
So Stranger Things was a spin-off of that story.
The Montauk Project.
And that's where they based that on. All that stuff going on there was the portals and all that stuff.
All the portals, all the mind control. So according to one theory, one of the leading scientists summoned something from basically the depths of his subconscious, and it was quite a nasty critter. So what they ended up doing is they just killed power to the whole thing and scrubbed the whole project. So
Tesla was an interesting guy. He came from Italy, right?
Where did he come from? I'm not sure.
If my memory serves me, and just from reading back and stuff, and just some things I remember, he invented a current different than what Edison did. Edison used AC and he used DC. Is that correct?
I'm not sure.
They used one of the. They were opposite on that, and the other one was cleaner and better. But for some reason, the government was in on the Edison deal and the rich guys, and they went with it, the Rockefellers and stuff. If my memory serves me right, I did not realize that he lived that old. I thought he died like in the 1920s. So he lived a lot longer than I did. He was a very sharp man that did not get the credit for the things that he done.
Mm-hmm.
Edison, for some reason, was they loved Edison. The government did, and he was building a lot of stuff for the military and stuff. And that's interesting. The time travel thing is really an interesting concept.
I have reached out to Andrew Basiago. We'll see what comes of it, but I would love to get his. I've heard him speak on a couple different videos, and he's pretty convinced.
I'm going to throw another little ratchet in the mix here. A lot of people think Donald Trump's uncle was involved with all this.
Well, Andrew Basiago says he has some vague memories of meeting with younger Trump.
That's what a lot of
because, like he said, and he also said when he went to Mars, he met a guy going by the name of Barry. Like what did Obama go by?
Soetoro.
Yeah, met Barry Soetoro there, a young Barry Soetoro
in Mars.
Going to Mars. So before he did the jump, Barry Soetoro met a young man by the name of Barry Soetoros, and he was also a part of the project. According to Andrew Basiago, all future presidents are a part of this. They get taken back into time, and then they're told of their destiny. And he said that's why George W. Bush was so energetic the day that he met him, was because that day they found out George H.W. Bush and Bush Sr. were both going to be presidents of the United States. So, but there's also, so you were saying Trump's uncle had ties to Tesla?
Uncle was ties to Tesla and some time machine stuff. There's a book. Boy, I'm getting all my stuff. I read so much crap. There's a book out that talks about Barron Trump. Mm-hmm. And that was written in like the 1930s or 40s. And It talks about the great president, Barron Trump. So I'm assuming.
Here it is. 3 weeks. It's fucking crazy that it's here. 3 weeks after Nikola Tesla dies, the government tasked MIT scientist John G. Trump, former President Trump's uncle, with evaluating Tesla's papers.
Yes. and supposedly those papers ended up in Trump's.
Right.
That President Trump has those papers, but supposedly someone wrote a book from back a long time ago, and they talk about Barron Trump being the president.
Well, and I've seen the drawing from the book, and it looks a lot like Barron Trump now.
Yep. So,
Barron Trump time travel. Well, you can tell what I've been looking at. Here's a picture of Barron Trump.
Yeah, the Barron Trump collection. When was that written? Like a long time ago.
I don't know. But anyway, I mean, if you look at, I mean, it's just kind of a shitty picture of a young boy, but I guess you can kind of see Barron Trump in it.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, it's interesting.
His uncle went through the papers of Tesla. So, I mean, it's not that far. If you believe all this crazy shit, you might as well believe, Trump's uncle had something to do with it.
As I'm getting older, when you get older, you get wiser. I think you also open your mind up a little bit to more things that you didn't when you were younger. I was a lot more closed-minded when I was younger. Now I'm older. I listen more. I pay attention more to some things. I really have started noticing, and it's common sense. Like Alex Jones, shit he talks about 3 years later is all right.
Right.
Everything. Or to a degree. So it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna push off like I do the flat earth. I'm against flat earth crap. This time travel stuff, I'm not so close-minded on all of it.
Right.
You can't prove to me until you take me and you put me somewhere and you put me back in time. If I had that kind of ability, I don't know if I would have went to the Ford Theater. I don't know if I'd have went to George Washington.
He was only 9 whenever he was doing this. He was a young boy. I mean, I don't think you got to pick your assignment. It was just, hey, you're going here, and this.
So
is
he
just
works
what
for
it
a
is.
team.
Huh?
He's on a team of time travelers.
Oh yeah, there's all they're infiltrated us, Jeff. They're all over the place.
I've had some weird deja vu stuff though happen to me in my life.
Right.
I mean, legitimate weird shit that's happened like 2 or 3, and I'm thinking I've been here and I knew what was going to happen before it happened. Nothing major, just little shit. The first time it happened, I was playing baseball, and all of a sudden I was like, wow, I've been here before. This guy's fixing to hit the ball to my left. I was playing shortstop. Nick's pitch right there, and I threw him out. Remembered exactly. I mean, I saw, and I don't know why I can remember that. I was 10 years old.
Right.
40-something years ago, but just weird shit like that but I've never forgot that. So I'm not one to say that there's not the deja vu. Have you not ever been somewhere and thought you'd been there before and you'd never have?
Kinda.
Yeah, and just some weird stuff that happens every once in a while. So as I get older too, I would sure like a do-over in life again. So sometimes I'd like to think that there is a.
Yeah, but I don't think you can go back and mess with anything.
No. I'm not talking about. My life's half over or more already. My whole time on this rock is about done. Go to heaven, it's going to be a lot better. It's the best place you can be. And they say once you go there, you never want to go back. It's depressing sometimes to think that all of the best part of my life is probably over, or not the best part, 'cause I have great things. But you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I mean, I liked it when you boys were little, but I don't want to lose my grandkids. I wouldn't want to go back and not have my grandkids in my life.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm just rambling. Anyways, I appreciate this is a really good one. You've done a really good job. I love these little things. So anyways, I appreciate y'all all for listening to us. If anything, let us know. Check out Mallard Bay, Cadillac Creek. God bless you. Peace.
Watch for deer. Check out Mallard Bay if you are looking to book a hunt, or if you're an outfitter and you need help filling those books. Mallard Bay is a great resource. Take advantage of them.